one where there was this old guy with a white beard, and he'd be standing next to a starving child from Africa, and he'd be like, "This is a starving child from Africa, but for $9 a month, you can sponsor this child and end his suffering." And obviously, we all had the same reaction to that commercial. I will spend $9 a month on Netflix, so I don't have to watch that depressing commercial anymore. And see, I think about that commercial a lot because I actually lived in Africa when I was a child. I know I don't look like it, but my dad worked for the CDC and he studied infectious diseases around the world. And so for the first few years of my life, we lived in Nigeria. Then when I was young, we moved back to the Atlanta area, right? When I was in the second grade, we learned about racial demographics in school. And my teacher asked the class, she said, "Does anyone here know what the term African American means?" And I was very excited to learn about this term because I lived in both of those places. Right? Up until that point, I always thought I was like different from the rest of my class. And I finally thought there was a group I might belong to. So I raised my hand and I say, "Mrs. Harvey, an African American is somebody that lived in Africa and then moved to America. We are a proud people, and I thank you for finally acknowledging us." And then she says, "No, Andy, you are not African American. You should not be saying things like that. I don't think you understand what that means." And I was like, "No, Mrs. Harvey, I don't think you understand. I am the only person in this classroom that has actually been to Africa. Look, I'm not going to let some lady who's never been to Africa deny me my cultural identity." And she went on, she taught us about other terms. She taught us what the term minority means. She said that a minority is a racial group that represents a small percentage of the overall population.
2 minutes.
And then she asked the class, she said, "Does anyone know which group is a minority?" At this point in my life, my entire worldview was based on the only two places that I had ever been: Nigeria and Atlanta. So I raised my hand and I said, "Mrs. Harvey, are white people minorities?" And then she says, "No, Andy, please stop raising your hand. I know I said that there was no stupid questions, but that is a very stupid question." And that whole experience, it really showed me, why like cultural appropriation is such a big deal, right? My friends always taught me that because they always told me that, the African American experience is very unique, right? It's a very small percentage of the world's population, but they make up like a huge influence on the world's culture, right? The way people talk, the way people dress, the music people listen to. And people from all over the world have always tried to capitalize off that culture, right? And that's wrong. You shouldn't portray yourself to be part of a culture when you haven't gone through the hardships that those people have gone through. And see, that's why I was so upset when I found out that the actor from the movie Get Out is British. Because that movie was about the African American struggle. That actor wasn't African American. Okay. So comedy is my only passion. I'm also a basketball coach. I also have my own basketball training business. I'm an entrepreneur. And a fun fact is if you look up the Latin origins of the word entrepreneur, its original pronunciation is Uber driver.
That's funny.
Uber, yeah, it's French. I also used to be a PE teacher. You know that saying about teachers? Those who can't do, teach. Those who can't teach gym. Those who can't teach gym, do stand-up comedy. But I stopped teaching because I got tired of dealing with like the attitude of all the kids. Kids would always like disobey, they talk back. And see, that's why I want to make it big in comedy. Because I always wanted to have one of those like calling out your hater moments like rappers have. Like, the song Juicy by Biggie Smalls. He starts out by saying, "Hey yo, this album goes out to all the teachers who told me I never amount to nothing. And all the people who called the police on me when I was just trying to make some money to feed my daughter." See, I want to do that, but from the teacher's perspective. Like I always dreamed of getting a big comedy special and starting out by saying, hey yo, this Netflix special goes out to all the students in fourth period who didn't apply themselves, interrupting my lesson plans when I was just trying to make some money to pay for my HBO subscription. All right, that's my time. I'm Andy Rodman. Thank you.
Next up, my man Andy Rodman. That nigga got the most Bob Burger face ever, man. Have you ever seen that show, Bob Burger? Very miscellaneous white man face. Make some noise, my man, one more time. Damn, y'all are dry tonight.